Hello everyone, in this video I'm going to be teaching you how to fly your drone, how to maintain and care for your drone, and I will also be sharing some beginners mistake that I've made in the past that has cost me some drones, and all other mistakes that beginners often make that may cost them their drone, because I understand that getting a drone is actually breaking the bank for a lot of people. And it's not like a camera. A camera hardly fall down. A camera, you just have to hold it. But drone is actually different from that. Of course it's a camera, but a slight mistake in terms of maintenance could actually cost you your drone. So I'll be teaching you how to maintain and care for your drone in this video, and I'll be taking you to how to use the controller, the features of the controller, some things that you need to know about the drone itself, and also the Fly app as well that you'll be using to fly your drone. Of course, most of the interface is the same for all types of drone, but I will be using DJI drone Mavic Air 2 as an example in this video. So let's dive into the video and talk about it. First and foremost, the usage of the drone is still evolving in different economies. Now drone is being used in agriculture, security, because of the trace me feature that it has, which makes it to automatically trace the subject. It's actually being used. It's also being used in architecture right now. A lot of agency, a lot of real estate agents are now using it. It has a wide variety of use, and the use is still going to be evolving as we go into the future, the world of gaming, the world of 3D and the likes. The uses are still going to be evolving. So you are actually in a good field if you want to learn how to use a drone, how to fly a drone. The usage are still evolving, and that will be a great field of the future that has already started right now. So I will start from the beginning, and I will give you an example that cost me one of my drone in the past. We don't really have much drone engineers, so you want to care for your drone in the most efficient way so that you don't have to take it to an engineer at all. What cost me my first drone was actually just something simple like this gimbal. And what happened was that I was very careless. If you are careless with removing and putting this actually covers the gimbal, it covers the camera, and you need to really know how to fix this. And if you are not careful about it, you may actually lose your drone in the process. So the mistake that I made then is just to insert it anyhow and then remove it anyhow, and that actually make the gimbal to start shaking. And then when you are flying, then your footage shows that it is shaking as if someone is walking with the camera. And taking it to a lot of engineers, none of them could fix it. So when you want to open this, it's actually a two-way thing. So look at it here. So we have a little bit of a space where you can put your hand here. So just first and foremost, remove it from the back here. Remove it from the back, and then you can then remove it from the front like that. And if you want to insert it, make sure the camera is facing forward, and then you first insert the rear of your drone. When you insert the rear, and then you can then clip it at the back just like this. So make sure it's facing the right way. So just make sure it actually enters here, and then make sure it enters here. So make sure I want to be very careful about it. I've always been careful about that. So you want to make sure it's actually fitted at the front here. So when it's fitted at the front here very well, and you see that the camera is inside it, and then you can then bring it down at the back, and then it will give a sound sometimes, and sometimes doesn't give a sound, and it's fully attached. And then aside from that, one thing you need to know as well is you don't necessarily need to remove your propellers whenever you finish. Whenever you fly, you may just leave your propeller on it and just fold it, and then whenever you want to use it again, just check it very well, and then you go ahead with your flying. So you don't need to be removing the propeller, because it can actually take a lot of debris that may cause some issues when you're flying. So you want to be careful about that. And then when you want to unfold your drone, you want to make sure that you unfold the rear for this first, the one at the front, before you remove the one at the back. So you want to do that first so that you will not break the hands. You want to remove this one at the one at the front. It's always like this. You want to remove the one at the front first, and then after that, then you can then bring it down, bring this one, and then remove these ones, and then so that is for that. So I have my drone fully set right now. So you want to bring out this one in front. You want to bring it out first, and then you can then bring out these back ones. And one thing you also need to know is that there are different propellers. We have 4 propellers. There are drones that has 6 propellers, 8 propellers, and the likes, but this one just had 4 propellers, which means if you lose one of the propeller, the drone is going to crash. It's not going to fly. Like, the flying will be abnormal, and then it's going to come down to crash. So you want to be very careful about that you don't lose any of your propeller, and the propellers are fitted very well. So we have some propellers marked white and we have some marked black. This one is marked white and this one is marked black. If you look at it very well, you see that this one is black and this one is white. So the white is always like this, one white here and then one white here and then one black here and then one black here. So that's how it's always attached. But if you attach it the way you're not supposed to attach it, even when you want to lift your drone up, it's not going to come up very well. It's not going to come up like this. It might start to bend before it comes up, something like that, and that may be a catastrophe, because immediately you lift it up like that, it's going to go into that direction that it is bending, and it's going to eat something in that direction. So you want to make sure that you fit each propeller to the appropriate motors. These are the motors. So you want to make sure that you want to fit each propeller to the appropriate motors. The motors are marked as well. The motors is marked white here. The motor is marked white, and then we have white propeller on it. The motor is marked black here. You may not see the black, and then we have black propeller on it. So you want to be very careful of that. So, and if you want to put on your drone, you just press this button once, and then it will show you the number of batteries that you have. So just press the button once, and then it will blink green and show you the level of battery that you have. If it blinks 4, that means you have full battery. If it's 2 or 1, that means you have low battery. And then after pressing it once and then you press it again, that means you want to put on your drone. So you see right now my drone actually has started. So but I don't want to put it on, so if you don't want, so it made a sound. I actually insisting that okay, yeah, so but I don't want to put it on right now. We still go out and fly very soon, so I want to put it off again. So you first press the battery once and then you press it down again and then it goes off. So that is how to power it on and how to power it off, and how to take care of your drone. And when you want to, when you want to fly, I will advise you look for a flat terrain. This is also a mistake that I made that cost me my drone. When I wanted to when I got a drone and I started flying it, I went to a park and there were grasses on the floor. It was a grass floor. It was grass floored. It was not a flat terrain like with cement, with blocks and the likes. And when I fly and then I come down and then I started the propeller again, and then one of the grass actually entered into the motor of the drone, and the propeller couldn't roll anymore, and then the propeller was still struggling to free itself of the grass that caught the motor. And then during the struggle, before I could get there and rectify the situation, because I was a little bit far off, the motor started evoking smokes, and some of the body started to burn. It was like a real smoke, and the body started to melt as well, because it's more plastic than this, and the body started to melt, and that was how I lost that drone. I think I only fly that drone once, and that was how I lost it. A lot of money gone. But of course it's not DJI and it's not up to this standard, but of course it's still something, and then I lost the drone. So that is for that. You want to take note of that. When you want to fly in a flat terrain, make sure you land in a safe place. That this is where it's going to come down first. I prefer a car park that is floored. That's where I prefer, or a place that is cemented. So that those are good areas to fly your drones. So aside from this drone, let's go to the propeller. Let's go to the controller. So this is the controller for DJI Mavic Air 2. Well, it's slightly different for Mavic Air 3. professional ones because it has its own interface. You don't need to attach a phone. So let me just explain what we have here. So this propeller, this is the controller. So you want to make sure that the propeller is fully charged, because if the propeller is not fully charged and you fly your drone and the propeller, if the controller is not fully charged and you fly your drone and the controller die, there's no way you can bring your drone back to you. The drone is just going to stay in the air, and then after the battery runs out, your drone is coming down, and it's going to, depending on where it fall down, it's going to crash. So you want to make sure that you fully charge this, and also your phone that you are using as well. So, and sometimes you may be flying your drone, and if you fly near a telecommunication wire or very tall structure, you may actually lose signal with your drone. That is, that your phone lost connection, you don't see anything on your screen anymore. In that kind of a case, don't be too anxious. All you just need, just click return to home. Your drone is going to come back to you. That doesn't mean you've lost it. If your screen goes blank, it sometimes it happens, but all you just need is to click on come back home, and when you click on come back home, it will accelerate to the return home altitude, and then it's going to come back to you. So that is for that. And then this button right here on top of the drone, on top of the controller here, this is the button that you will actually be using to actually start the record or snap a picture. Of course, you can do it on your phone as well. When you connect it to the DJI Fly, you can do it through this button. You can do it to this button, but you can also do it on the controller through this button. You can, when you click it, depending on which version, if it's on video, it's going to start recording. When you click it, if it's on photo, it's going to snap. And how to toggle between video and picture is through this button here. This button towards the right side, towards the right stick. So this is the button you press. It will toggle. It will switch between video and picture. So that is for this button. And this is the power button. When you click it once, it's going to show the level of battery that you have. And if you press it again, yeah, you see the sound. That means it's powered on. So, and then you can use it. And if you want to put it off again, you press it once. It's also going to show the lights, which also represent the level of battery, and then you press and hold, and then it's going to go off. That's the sound for going off, and that is for that. And we also have this return home button, which you have here. If you press it once, your drone is going to break. You know, maybe you are using one of the quick shots. There are some quick shots that requires like 132 feet for you to use those quick shots, because it actually requires a lot of space. So maybe you mistakenly initiate that kind of a shot, because it's not all those drone shots in some circumstance that has obstacle avoidance. So you want to be very careful about that. Even though you are flying in normal mode, obstacle avoidance may not work in some instance when you are using some quick shots. So maybe you want to hit something in some quick shot, you can press this return home button once, and then your drone is going to break. And when it's break, it will stop moving, and then probably you can, you know, adjust and then resume, or you can just return home. But if you press it once, your drone is going to break, and if you press and hold, then your drone is going to return home. Your drone is going to return home if you press and hold. But if you press it once, your drone will just break. And this button right here is what this, like a tuning, is what we use to, you know, is what we use to change the gaze of the gimbal, which in other words the camera. If you draw it towards this side, your camera is going to look down, and you will see a line that will show at the extent to which your camera can look down. And you roll this towards this side again, towards the right, your camera is going to look up again, and then to the extreme end, your camera will just be looking forward. But if it's down, your camera is going to be looking down. So that's the function. So that's the function of this. And we also have this FN button. You can always set the whatever function you want to. It's a customizable button. You can always set whatever it is that you want to give it in the Fly app, whichever function you want to give to it. But by default you can press it, and then the light at the bottom of your drone is going to come on. This light here is going to come on. So when you press it, I think when you press it twice, the light is going to come up. And then when you press it again, maybe you press it, if you press it once, the light is going to come up, and then when you press it twice, the game bar is going to reset. So that is for that. And then we have three type of mode that you can fly in. We have the sport mode, which is at the extreme right. We have the normal mode in the middle, and we also have the tripod mode at the extreme left. So the difference is just about the speed of your drone. And another difference is that when you are flying in normal mode and tripod mode, your obstacle avoidance will be working. But when you are flying in sport mode, your obstacle avoidance will not work. So you want to be careful. And of course, when you are flying, when you are looking at your screen, you will be able to see the mode you are flying in. N mode is for normal mode, and we have tripod mode, which will make your shot more stable. And then when you are moving, you are rolling. We have different type of rolling. We still get that when we are doing our flying lessons. So when you are rolling right or you are rolling left, so you will be able to sense obstacle. So when you are rolling right or you are rolling left in normal mode, the speed is going to be normal, but if it's on tripod mode, it's going to be slower. But if it's on sport mode, a little bit of a movement on your stick means a high movement with your drone. So you want to be careful. And sport mode is very fast and without obstacle avoidance. So if you're a beginner, I will advise you do not use the sport mode at all. You should stick with normal and tripod mode. And if you're flying indoor, that most of the time that's when people use sport mode, because when you're flying indoor, your obstacle, it will be sensing obstacle, and it will be giving the incessant noise that may be annoying you. So most of the time people use sport mode when flying indoor, but they will fly in sight and not out of sight. And as a matter of fact, I always advise flying in sight and not out of sight. If you're a beginner, do not fly out of sight. Even though you have the capability, do not fly out of sight. Fly in sight. Fly where you can see. And also, this is the antenna. Some drone always have their antenna like this, and you will want it to face the drone for absolute interaction between the drone and the controller but the antenna here is inside of this. The antenna is inside of this. It's inbuilt inside here. So you want to let it face your drone. If it's up here, probably face it here. If it's like this, face it there. If like this, face it there, so that you might have absolute perfect interaction between your drone and the controller. So that is for that. And this is where you will remove your sticks. This is the stick for my drone here, the stick that we insert into this place, and then I'll be able to use it to control my movement. So that is for everything I would say on this controller. And make sure that you do not let this controller fall down, and because if it falls down, you may need to recalibrate this button, because something may happen inside it. You may need to recalibrate the button, and sometimes if it falls down, even though recalibrating the button will not work, and then your drone may even not work, because it will just be telling you to recalibrate, and after recalibrating, it will still be telling you to recalibrate, because something is wrong with the controller. And if you are eventually able to fly, sometimes there may have been an automatic movement inside this that will be controlling your drone against your intended movement. So you want to be very careful about that. Do not let your controller fall down at all. And then we will go to the Fly app right now. We will connect our drone with the, and then we'll be able to see everything that is on the Fly app and whatever it is that we want to do. And after that, we go out and do some flying lessons, which is actually very, very important. We go to the Fly app, and then this is my controller. I will connect my phone, and then I will connect it with the drone, and then we'll be able to see some things in the Fly app, because I may not be able to see it in the sunlight when we are doing a flying lesson. So that's why I want to explain about the Fly app indoor. So I fixed my phone right here, and it's on iPhone cable that I plugged. There are three type of cables that come with it. We have Android Type C and iPhone cable. So I insert the iPhone cable here. So this, I've plugged it to my phone, and then I've downloaded the DJI app, and I've also connected my drone with the controller. So it's very easy to connect. You just need to put this on and then put the drone on as well, and then you will choose the type of drone you want to connect with, and then when you choose the type of drone, and then it's going to connect. So now let me open the DJI Fly app, and then I will be able to explain a lot of things that are there for us. So I will also need to power on my drone so that I'll be able to use the DJI Fly app. So you will also see my drone is also blinking, showing that it wants to pair with the controller. So we have aircraft indicator at the rear. This is the aircraft indicator, and we also have this light. It will most times shows red, but these are aircraft indicator. Most of the time when you see it showing red, that means something is wrong. But one thing that we advise here is that when using this Fly app, make sure when you connect with your drone, make sure you update the firmware, that you are using the updated version, because you really need it to be updated. Make sure that everything that the Fly app signal for you in terms of update, make sure you actually follow suit with it, that you update it. So I will take you through the process for the for every interface that we see on the Fly app, and then afterwards we will go and check out some flights, how to fly, and some of the things that you can do with your drone. And now, so you can see the label, how it's been labeled already. So this one here actually shows you your flight mode. Number one actually shows if you are flying in normal, if you are flying in sport, or if you are flying in tripod. And then the second one actually shows you the system status bar, which is actually in flight, which display in flight, which indicates aircraft flight status. And it can also display various warning messages to you, so you want to check note for that. If you're having some notification that you need to, like low battery, you will see it there. And we also have on number 3, we have battery information. On number 3, we have battery information. Currently the battery is on 80%, and the minutes left for the battery to run is 24 minutes 26 seconds. It actually displays the flight time that is remaining. And then we also have the video downlink signal strength, which actually displays the video downlink strength between the aircraft and the remote controller. So when it's actually full, as it is right here, you know that there's a good connection between your video and then your phone. You know that there's a good connection, and if the connection is actually getting low, then you may want to probably know that something may be going wrong if you keep going in the direction that you're going, and your screen may go blank. And of course, sometimes you don't get such kind of decrease and your screen just suddenly goes blank, but all you just need sometimes is just to click on the return home, and even sometimes the automatic return home is initiated in such kind of circumstance. And if it doesn't come home, you can initiate return home on your own. So that is for this number 4, video downlink signal strength. And we also have on number 5, forward and backward vision system. And the top of the icon indicates the status of the forward vision system, and the bottom also indicates the status of the backward vision system. So the icon is white when the vision system is working, and normally so the icon is white when this vision system is working very well, and it will turn red when the vision system is unavailable. So these are what it's actually used to sense obstacles and the likes. And we also have the 6, we have GPS status, which actually display the current GPS signal strength. We have the GPS status. This is actually very important to actually use the GPS, simply because the GPS actually helps your drone to position itself where it's supposed to be, so that it will not actually it will not drift along with the wind, because the higher you fly, the higher the wind. So this GPS does something that's very crucial. When you're flying your drone, the GPS is actually it connects to a GPS, which is global positioning system, and then it connects to a satellite, and then it uses the GPS in connection to the satellite to actually position itself. Like when you are flying, it will, sometimes the wind can take your drone to the left or to the right, but you realize that before it goes so long, the drone is back to the right position that it's supposed to be. That is the GPS working, because the GPS is enabled, the GPS is working. So if you don't fly in a place that has GPS, then that means, or if the GPS is not working and you go very high, that means your drone the wind may actually control your drone to a large extent, and you need to force yourself to bring your drone and make it behave the way you want it to behave. And then something now comes in when the drone uses a GPS. When it uses a GPS, that means that the drone actually uses the GPS actually consumes more battery. So when you go high, the GPS actually works very high as well, like to control and reposition the drone, to fight against the wind, because the higher you go, the higher the wind. So the drone will also have to battle with a wind that is more higher than when you are not flying that high. So the more higher you go, the more the GPS will have to work, and then the GPS actually uses the battery. So the more higher you go, the more battery will be consumed. So if your battery capacity is very, very weak, maybe in 50%, and then you go very high, that the battery is consumed at at an uncontrollable, if maybe your battery is not good again, and then you go very high, and then the battery just drops from 30 to 0. When you use your drone to an excess of batteries, you may need to change your battery. In such situation, when you have a very critical battery, the battery can just run from 30 to 0. So you don't want that to be your case. So you want to make sure that your battery is good, and if you want to fly high, make sure that your battery is actually in a good condition, that is charged to a good extent, that that okay, the GPS we have enough battery to use up there. So the GPS is actually very, very important. Don't actually use the GPS to reposition itself, and in a case where the GPS is not working, the drone will actually use the vision system to actually try and reposition itself. So the GPS the GPS connection we have it's connected to 20 satellites. That's what we have here, and that is actually good enough. And also we have on 7 we have system settings. When you tap on it, you'll be able to check some settings and do a lot of things that you may want to do. And when we go to flight, when you go to 7 system settings, you will see a lot of settings. When you click on this 3 button, you'll be able to see a lot of settings that you can do. Change some settings, disable flight sideways, customize button, and whatever you want to do. And in this aspect, we have safety as well. You can use flight protection to set the max altitude for your return home. You can also set max distance, and you can also update the home point. And then this brings me to another mistake that many people actually make. Sometimes when you actually start off your drone, you are in point A, but then you started moving, maybe you are in a moving car, and then you get to where you're going, and then you click on return home. The return home will be where you actually started, or where you actually left your drone, which is point A. So you want to keep updating your return home if you are in transit and you're flying your drone. And even as a beginner and you're in transit flying your drone, I will advise you be very, very careful. And you can also disable the flight assistance, which actually means that the forward and downward vision will not work again, and you can also enable them. So that is for that. And you can also use the camera to check quick shots, to check hyperlapse, or whatever you want to do. And then we have this number 8, this button over here, which is actually the shooting modes. When you click on it, you'll be able to see the shooting modes. We have on this particular drone, we have different shooting mode. We have for single, 48 megapixel, smart, AEB, burst, and timed out. And we also have video, normal, 4K. You can set it to different frames per second. You can just browse through that and then do whatever you want. We have panel, quick shots, hyperlapse, and we show some of those very soon. And we also have this 9 button here, which is actually number 9, the 9th button, which is actually record, shutter, or record button. If your setting is actually you set it to camera, to picture, it's going to be a shutter button. But if you press if it's not on picture, if it's on video and you press it, it's going to be a record button, that is recording activity. 10th button, which is actually to preview the photos that you've taken and the likes. And you know, when you actually tap it, what you will see are catch files, not the original. No, they are catch files. They are not really heavy. They are just a way of previewing what you've snapped and what you've videoed. So they are not in 4K. Of course, they are still good. You can easily share it on social media, you can download it to your phone, but they are not the best version of what you've just gotten. You need to connect your drone to a computer and then access the memory and then be able to access the raw file, which is very heavy, which is the best quality. And we also have the 11th, which actually camera mode switch, which can actually help you to switch between auto and manual mode when in photo mode. And you can also in manual mode as well, the shutter and ISO can be set. In auto mode, AE lock and EV can be set as well. So that is for that. And then this number 12, we have micro SD card information. It displays the remaining number of photos or video recording time of the current micro SD card. So if you type to view the available capacity of the micro SD card here, you will see. So it shows you the amount of time you can use in recording, the recording time you have left. So if you don't have too much on your drone, then you'll be able to record more. And then this starting actually gives us our aircraft orientation. It actually displays the real-time orientation of the aircraft, which helps you to know how to navigate, because when we start flying, we understand what orientation really means. That is, if the drone is facing nose out or nose in. And then this 14 actually is the flight telemetry, which displays the distance between the aircraft and the home point, and also height from the home point, and aircraft horizontal speed and aircraft vertical speed. So you can use this to know how far you are going or how wide you are going. And in terms of this, I will advise there is no need for you to go very high than necessary. You don't need to fly in a way that you will not be able to see your drone anymore. You don't need to fly up to that point, even though your drone has that kind of capacity, because the higher you fly, the higher the wind you have to battle, and sometimes you may not know the amount of wind that may be up there. So you want to be very careful so that you don't use your battery hop over there and then your drone will not fall. And then we have 15, this is our map, and we have 16, which is auto takeoff or landing or return to home. When you tap on it as well, you can return to home, and when you tap and hold, so you can return to home as well. And this 17 is just a back. Maybe you want to back, you go to a setting, when you click on it, it's going to back. So that is for the Fly app, all the indications that are there. And then we will now use everything we've learned here, we will now take them into our flying lessons. So let's go out and fly our drone and see some magic that this bird can actually perform. Now we are in the field, and this is my drone actually. So as I suggested earlier, you need to look for a place like a park so that you can get a safe landing, and I'm currently in a park. So now the first thing you want to do to bring up your drone is to do what we call the CSC, combination of stick control. Like you want to bring it down together like this, and then you'll be able to start your drone. So let me click on Go Fly, and then I'll be able to see my camera, and then everything is set. I can click on skip here, confirm. So, and then if I do the CSC, then my drone is going to start. It's going to confirm check complete. Yeah, and my drone has started already. So my drone has started already. So you can just go up. I will tell you something very soon. So you can go up. So we can see it's detecting some noise. That's why it's making noise. But now no more noise because there's no obstacle again. So the first thing you want to do, you check your RC, the connection. You see that the connection is good, and then if it's good, then you know that you are good to go. And then the second thing you want to do here is you want to be able to show that everything is actually under control. Like even though I go up, it responds. So I want to come down again to ascertain that everything is supposed to be as it should be. But now I'm going to be teaching you the 4 movements that are possible to make through your drone. There are 4 types of movements that you can use your drone to make, and I will take you through the 4 process right now. So, but let me come down and land my drone by just coming down. So you don't need to press this altitude button down so much, just bring it down, and then it's going to stand on a place, and then it's going to come down, and then it's landed. So now let me take you to the 4 steps that we can actually make on the 4 movements that we can make with our drone. This is my button. This is the, if you want to go up, this is going up and this is coming down. We call it turtle movement. We have 4 different movements. We have turtle movement, we have yaw movement, we have roll movement, and we also have pitch movement. And this is what these 2 buttons actually represent. So if I go up, this is throttle up. If I come down, this is throttle down. And if I press this is the yaw movement. That is, the orientation of my drone is going to change. I'm going to use it in an example very soon. So my drone is going to change, it's going to change direction. That is yawing. And then if you want to roll, rolling is like moving your drone left or right, and then pitch is like going forward or coming back. This is the pitch button. This is the pitch stick. If you go like this, that means you are pitching forward. If you bring it down like this, that means you are pitching backward. If you go like this, that means you are rolling right. If you go like this, that means you are rolling left. If you go up, that means you are throttling up. This is throttle. And then if you go like this, that means you are yawning right. So your drone is going to follow those moves. Those are the 4 movements that we have that we can make with our drone. So now let's use this movement, and let me teach you how to use them to fly your drone. I'm starting my drone again. So I click on the button. So now the next thing I want to do right now is to throttle up by going up on the left key, and then if I go up like this, so my drone is up. That is throttling up. And then if I bring down the button again, some people call it this is the altitude of the drone. If I bring it down again, the drone is going to come down. So this is coming down, and then this is going up. That is, you are using the throttle stick, the throttle movement. So you are throttling up here, and then you are throttling down here. So now let me complete what we have on this left stick. This is throttle up and throttle down. And then if you want to yaw right, this is what you will do. So now my drone is changing direction right now. We can see that it's changing direction. So this is the yawning. So this is the yawning movement. So I'm going back in front. So now I'm back in front. So that's the yawning movement. And then going to the right stick that we have it for pitching. If I push it forward, it's going to go front. So I'm pitching forward like this. And if I bring it back, so I'm pitching backward. So one thing you want to do is that when you are using this stick, a little bit of a movement on the stick actually means a lot of movement on the drone, especially when you are in sport mode. So you want to be careful that you don't push too hard. If you push too hard, then your drone is also going to move very hard and very fast. So you want to go very smoothly in an order that you know that you can control, because immediately you release the stick, if you are moving too fast, your drone is not going to stop immediately. It's going to move a little bit. So you want to leave a little bit of obstacle space before you stop, when you will know that you want to stop somewhere, because your drone is not going to stop immediately. So let me use the rolling. So this is the rolling. If I can roll right, so this is rolling right, my drone is going right, and then this is rolling left, my drone is going left. So this is rolling left, my drone is going left. So I can go right again, like rolling right, and then rolling left, and then I can pitch forward, and then I can pitch backward, and then I can roll right again, and then I can throttle up, I can throttle down, and I can yaw. So we see how the yawning works. So I can roll a little bit left again. So that is for the movements that we have on the drone. But right now I want to do some quick shots that we have. So I didn't press record, but if I press record here or on the record button, as I've explained when I was talking about the controller, you can start your recording. So if I press on this record, it's going to start recording everything that my drone is seeing currently. So, but aside from, I've explained the movement, but you need to also know something, that we have two directions that the drone, we have different directions that the drone can face depending on where you yaw your drone to. What we have right now is nose out, that is, your drone is facing where you are facing as well. This is nose out. But if I yaw right and then my drone comes to face me, this is what we know as nose in. This is nose in, and then this is what we can use to control the button, the direction of the gimbal. You know, as I've explained earlier, if you press this button, you'll be able to come down. You see, this shows you how much you can come. So this is me. So now I said when you use the right button, the pitch, when you roll right, you will go right. But when the drone is actually facing nose in, when you roll right, then you know that the drone is going to go left, like this. You see, I click on the right, I actually roll right on my controller, but the drone actually goes to the left side. So because nose in, nose out will determine the direction that your drone will actually go to. If it's actually nose out, if you roll right, your drone is going to go right, and if you roll left, your drone is going to go left. But if it's actually nose in, if you roll right, your drone is going to go left, but if you roll left, your drone is going to go right if it's actually nose in. But if it's nose out, if it's right, if you roll right, it's going to go right, and if you roll left, it's going to go left. So if I roll left here, my drone is going to come to the right side. So you want to be very careful of that, because that has actually caused some people some accidents that, you know, they think they are coming left, but they are actually going right. So you want to be very careful that you know where your drone is facing, and we have the orientation of the drone on the Fly app as well. So you want to really know where you are facing. And then the yawning also works in this kind of aspect. You know, when it's nose out, if you go right, your drone is going to go right. But if it's nosing, if you go right, your drone is going to go left. So in the same way, if you are using the yawning stick, that is, you want your drone to turn, you want to actually turn the orientation of your drone. If you go right as well, your drone is going to yawn to the left side like this. But if you go left, your drone is going to yawn to the right side. So that is, you want to be careful of that so that you don't actually miss your drone. And you want to know that whenever you pitch forward, your pitching actually, where your drone is facing will determine where your drone is going to go. As I'm actually facing, you know, I'm not facing, I'm not nose out and I'm not nosing totally here. I just, you know, I have a bending, I'm not really straight. So if I go forward here, if I pitch forward, my drone is going to go in that direction. So if I'm yawning and I'm pitching, then my drone is going to be going in a round cycle. For example, let's look at what we have here. So my drone is actually, you know, going forward and then turning, because I'm using two sticks at the same time. Because when you are pitching forward, you are pitching towards where your drone is actually looking at. So because I'm yawning and I'm also pitching forward slowly, that is why you see that my drone is going a little bit like in a cycle, because as it's turning, it's also moving forward. So where you are pitching to is determined. If you are going for whichever way you are going to go, it will be determined by where your drone is actually facing. So if your drone is facing this side and you pitch forward, your drone is going to go towards that side. And if you pitch backward, your drone is going to come back in that same position as well. So you want to really master how to do your yawning, you want to perfect it very well, and how to control your drone where you are nosing or nose out, so that you don't crash your drone. This is something that you really need to master yourself very well. And now let me just show some quick shots that we have. So if you want to use the trace feature of the drone, let me face myself. If I want to use the trace feature, I want to look at myself. I'm looking down right now, and then I can just draw a circle around me, and then I've done the circle right now. So it actually brings three options: active track, spotlight, and point of interest. So I like active track. So if I click on go, my drone is going to be following me. So this is for active track. So if I click on go, so right now my drone is going to be following me wherever I go. So you see that my drone is yawning to wherever it is that I am. So I'm not controlling it anymore. It's the one that is actually following me right now. So it's actually following me. So this is the follow feature. You can see it on the screen as well. So this is the tracing feature of the drone. So my drone is actually following me here. So my drone is the one following me. I'm not doing any control. So my drone is following me.
So this is actually the tracing feature. But if you actually pass beside someone, the tracing can actually pass to that person. So you want to be careful of your movement, maybe if it actually pass the direction. So this is me again, and then I can click stop, and then it will stop tracing me, and then I can just take control of my drone again. And then do whatever it is that I want to do. So I can cancel this button, that square that I draw. So if I want to use some quick shots, I'm not recording everything that I'm doing because I'm doing screen recording. So if I want to use quick shots, all I have to do is just to press this button, and then I can click on quick shot, and then I'll be able to see all the shots that we have. If I want to use this rocket feature, it's just going to, let's see how the rocket feature works. So this is the rocket feature, and then I click plus on the subject. It identifies the subject, and then I can click on start, and then the rocket is going to initiate. So it's counting down right now to initiate the rocket. So now it's recording. This is the rocket shot. So that is me in rocket shots. So my drone is still fixated on me. But if I actually want to come out of it, I can press the home button, and then it's going to stop if I actually press the home button. So the quick shot complete. So my drone is coming down back again because the quick shot has actually completed. So my drone is coming back again. So now it actually stopped where we actually started off. So I don't need to press record on that one will automatically record itself. So now if I click on this up button back, I can then maybe choose another quick shot. I can do the cycle quick shot, and then it's already showing me who to circle as well. So I click on the subject as well, so it tells me which position do you want it to start from. Is it towards this left or towards this right? So you can choose whichever one you want, and then you can click on start, and then it's going to initiate that quick shot. So it's going to circle me right now. This is what my drone is going to do. So it's recording itself automatically immediately I press start. So my drone is circling me right now to the quick shot circle movement. So now it's completed, and it gave me the completion notification, and that is for that. So I can come down again, I can go up again, whichever thing I want to do. So if I click on this button again, there are other shots that I can take. We have the hyperlapse, which which will actually enable you to set the duration of whichever quick shot you want to take. So that is for the hyperlapse. And we also have the helix and the boomerang, and then the asteroid. So if you want to use these three, helix, boomerang and asteroid, I will suggest you be in a very, very spacious place that is more spacious than this place, because I have some cable wire, but of course I can still run it by going up, and then I will run it, but I don't want to do that. So you can still do that, but you want to be in a place that is very, very spacious, because these are things that actually takes a lot of space. But when you are using your quick shot, you can break that quick shot. Okay, for example, let me try and use a quick shot and break by pressing the home button. When you press the home button once, your quick shot is going to stop. So let me use boomerang, and then click on the subject here, and then click on start. So it's counting down already, so it's going to give me the boomerang shot. So if I see that I'm noticing that it's going where I don't want it to go, so I press brake because it's going towards the pole. So I click on the home button, and then it stopped. So I can then gain control of my drone again by running right, and my drone is going to come left, and then roll forward, my drone is going to come forward, and then I can then yawn. If I want to yawn towards me right now, I will just go left, so it's going to turn left here. So you want to take note of that. So I will advise that you really practice with this nose in and nose out feature, because sometimes it can be confusing. You may think you are going left and you are actually going right because of the orientation of your drone. So you want to be careful about that. So that is how to use some of the quick shots, and you can also break in between. So you want to fly in a place that is actually free of grasses. You don't want to fly your drone when it's windy or when it's cloudy, because or when it's drizzling, because if it's drizzling and you fly your drone, then a little bit of water can actually enter it and it will cause some circuits in your drone. So I hope I've done a lot of justice. So let me just go out of this quick shot. So I can just go out of this quick shot by pressing this and then go back to my video, and then I'm back at the normal. So I can yawn and then maybe do a little bit of flying. So I can press record here, and then I can go wherever I want to go. If I roll right, it's going to go towards that side. So I don't want to, so if I go forward, it's going to go forward. It's going to go to wherever I want it to go. So that's for that. But you want to be careful of all these power cables. You want to be very careful of them, because sometimes they are invincible when you are using the fly out, especially when you are flying in the afternoon. So you want to be really careful of those cables so that your drone does not clash with them. This video I've actually fly for more than 20 minutes and my drone is still up. That means my battery is actually still very okay. So and if I want to come down, I can press return home. So let me use the return home feature as well. I can go a little bit far away from me and let's see how the return home works. So this is also where you can actually update your return home. Maybe you leave a position, you leave where you are in transit, you leave where you are and then you fly to somewhere else and you want to return home. So this is actually where to actually update your return home. By clicking on this, and then you'll be able to click OK and then update your return home. So home point is updated right now. So if you return, this is where it's going to return to. So this is auto return home altitude right here. The auto return home altitude is 200 meters. So my drone is going to go 200 meters wherever it is. If I click on return home, and then it's going to return to me. So let me fly somewhere. And then we use the return home feature. So I want to go forward up, and then I want to go forward. So I'm going forward so that you can see how the return home feature works.
Battery level is low.
My battery level is low right now. So my aircraft is going to return to the home point in few seconds. So let's see how the aircraft, so you see it's going to the return home altitude. I'm not pressing anything right now, and then it's going to yawn towards my direction, and then it's going to come to me. So that is what is happening over there. My aircraft automatically goes to 200 meters because that is the set return home altitude, and then it's going to come back to where I am. So it's first of all go to the 200 meters, the return home altitude, and then it's going to come back to where I am. So you want to be sure that you actually update your own point, that you don't take off somewhere and then you are somewhere else and then your aircraft goes to land where you take off. So you want to be where you want to make sure that your own point is updated before your return home. Now my drone is back, the return home has actually worked, but something actually happened that you may not notice.
I set my altitude to return home altitude to above 200 meters, which is actually too much. I don't really know why I got to set it to that much. It was a mistake. I got slip of hand. So the altitude was set to 200 meters, which is exceedingly high. The normal setting should actually be around 100 meters or 80 meters, depending on your location, because it's going to rise to that altitude, and you know, if there's nothing, is always at that altitude. But at 200 meters is actually too high, so you want to put it around 80 to 100 meters, and you yourself will see the altitude it actually goes to return home. So you can always, you know, check your height to know which altitude is best for your return home. And that's the end of this flying lesson. Let's go back indoor. And I hope you enjoyed this video. That is all I want to show to you in this video. If you have any question, you can put it in the comment section. I will answer your question, and if I get positive comments, I will release even more better videos about all of that things that you may need to know about using your drone. So you can just give your comment about this video. If I see many people show interest in it, I will release more videos that are even better than this in the future time. So thank you very much. Hopefully see you in subsequent videos. Kindly subscribe to this channel. This is our entrepreneur hub, and I'm pretty sure you benefit a lot in this channel. So hopefully see you in subsequent videos.